I'm going to do Paul's bio, too. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Yeah.
I got Deborah's.
Okay. Okay. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the 11:10 session, which is titled Music, Murder, and Entertainment, How to Kill It in Social Media. We have an awesome panel up here today, and don't forget, if you're going to tweet, please use the hashtag UTSMW16. So I'm going to go ahead and start introducing our panelists. So this is Tearsa Smith. She's from WATE 6, and she's going to be the moderator. And then, yes, they are one of our co-sponsors. So then I have Paul Jankowski, who is the founder and chief brand strategist at the New Heartland Group, a brand building agency in Nashville. Clients here range from PepsiCo to Pizza Hut. His second book, Speak American 2, Your Guide to Building Powerful Brands in the New Heartland, aims to help brands connect with 60% of the consumers living in the New Heartland. His book defines this massive yet underserved cultural segment and traces the role core values such as faith, community, and family play in buying behavior. Paul is a Forbes contributor with a blog on building brands. Paul has held senior marketing positions with MCA Records, Gibson Guitar, and Live Nation. He was also chief marketing officer for Elvis Presley Enterprises, overseeing a global brand development. He has worked directly with many athletes and entertainers, including Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Blake Shelton, Lady Antebellum, Dierks Bentley, Jason Aldean, Evander Holyfield, and Elton John.
All right, and I'm going to be introducing Mike McCloud right here. And he is a World Food Championship CEO. Mike McCloud is marketing and entrepreneurship focused on making food competitions in the long-term, fun-filled legacy for the culinary industry. His marketing firm, MMA Creative, is the agency of record for KCBS, the world's largest barbecue enthusiast organization, and the International Chili Society. MMA has also developed new marketing programs like the Great American BBQ Tour, American Grillmaster Tour, and Cookoff Before Kickoff, a rivalry-based football tailgate program for Coca-Cola, AT&T, Heinz, and Kingsford.
Up next, we have Deborah Allen from Jupiter Entertainment. Deborah is the vice president of programming for Jupiter Entertainment and an executive producer. She plays a senior role in the development and production of nonfiction series and specials. Over the past decade, she has produced primetime shows for A&E, Court TV, Investigation Discovery, History Channel, National Geographic, Biography, Oxygen, and Fuse. In the true crime genre, she has served as a showrunner for many of Jupiter's critically acclaimed shows, including City Confidential, Snapped, Killer Couples, and the all-new social media series, #KillerPost.
Yeah. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have Erick Baker, who is a singer-songwriter right here from Knoxville, Tennessee. He is one of UT's own alumni. He received a degree in public relations, and he wrote, and we quoted, "If you would have told me when I graduated from UT in 2001 that I end up making a living as a singer-songwriter and television host, I wouldn't have believed you." Since he's graduated and received his EP in 2008, he's been able to share the stage with artists such as John Legend, James Blunt, Gavin DeGraw, Grace Potter, Brandy Carlisle and Hart, and he's also toured in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. He's currently pursuing new adventures. He proudly claims Tennessee as his home, although he doesn't get to enjoy it as much as he would like to. But as the host of the PBS outdoor television show Tennessee Uncharted, he's getting the opportunity to rediscover how great his home state is and how great his home state is, one outdoor adventure at a time.
Cool, man.
All right.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Okay, so rule number one, this has got to be a very loose and fun and enjoyable conversation. So can we all agree to that? Okay, we're going to ask a lot of questions. We're going to have our interested face, and we are ready to just have a good time because we're talking about social media, and that's fun for everybody, right? So let's get down first to what we all want to know about. What's Beyonce like? Now, okay, we can actually get down to business. Let's talk about social media. And really, I love the topic or the title, Music, Murder, and Entertainment, How to Kill It on Social Media. Who in the room is under the age of 27? Okay, well, that's special. Put your hands down. Who here can remember a time when, number one, there was no social media? Who can, oh, y'all, some of y'all lying to make me feel good, thank you. Who can remember a time when you watched a TV show and you just watched a TV show, and if you liked it, you talked about it with your friends, and that was about it? Okay, so you all, for the most part, are in a generation where TV is a lot more interactive, music is a lot more interactive than we've ever seen. So you've got great resources here. So let's first start off by talking a little bit about how social media plays into the industry and the profession that you're in. I believe we voted you as the first one to go. How is Beyonce?
Two things. My name is Paul. That was not one of them. So you want to be in the record business. That was the quarter-page ad in the Daily Beacon that I read sitting at lunch somewhere when I was in school here 20-something years ago. Changed the course of my life because the answer was yes. It took me a year to get that job as I started as a college intern for CBS Records, which, again, started my trajectory. So the seat you're in right now could really and is defining where you're going to go. That's number one. Number two, word of mouth is the holy grail in everything that we're talking about. Everything we're talking about ladders up, in my opinion, to word of mouth. As Tearsa said, talking about what's important to you. So that's, social is certainly one channel. I'm going to show you a 2-minute video, give you a little bit of background of who we are, and then we're going to hit a couple of slides, and we're going to get some real information from the smart folks.
Based in Nashville, New Heartland Group is an industry-leading brand building and consumer engagement agency that creates platforms for some of the world's most recognized brands. There are over 900 communications agencies in the U.S., but we're one of one. The only one that specializes in the massive yet underserved New Heartland cultural segment. We're the leader in helping clients connect brands with the 60% of U.S. consumers who call the New Heartland home. We wrote the book on helping brands speak American and guide our clients in delivering brand messaging that is culturally relevant in the New Heartland and beyond. We build brands. It's what we do. We specialize in brand strategy, content creation, digital, and branded entertainment. A brand is a collection of hundreds of perceptions that create an emotional connection. We help our clients create and manage those vital consumer perceptions. Through proprietary research and thought leadership, our brand strategies are based on a deep understanding of New Heartland core values and the cultural touch points that drive buying behavior. With a team of passionate producers who are on the cutting edge of technology and trends, we create shareable content and distribute across broadcast and digital platforms. We have proven expertise in social strategy and digital marketing best practices. We give our brands a measurable advantage in partnering with celebrity influencers and entertainment properties. With decades of experience and relationships, we are category leaders in providing talent acquisition, sponsorship negotiation, and activation services. New Heartland Group delivers senior-level expertise in a passionate, agile, whatever-it-takes environment. We want to be known for the excellence of our work, but more importantly, how we do it. New Heartland Group. We build brands.
Okay, while we're moving, again, I have about 2 more slides, and I'm gonna shut up. But Coach says you can't coach height, you can't coach size, right? That's just what you got. I say you can't coach passion. So whatever's driving you in your seat right now, whatever's deeply rooted in you, let that be the thing that pushes you to where you're going to go. I started in the music business because that is my passion. That remains my passion. But I morphed into branding. So over the 25, 26 years since I sat in your chair, it's taken some different trajectories that I'm sure we're all going to talk about in a second. But I just thought that was, I love the fact where you're sitting right now and where you're going to end up when you're on this side of the table in a few years. So let your passion drive where you want to go. So to set this thing up, we need to talk about what a brand is. Everyone talks about branding this, branding that. Everything's a brand, right? Agreed? When you think of vitamin water, what comes to your mind? Just give me quick couple ideas. Good for you, healthy, fruity. All right, so this is called a brand tag exercise. So good, healthy, water, vitamin. That's what happens. These are perceptions. When I ask you this question, what your overall perception is. What about this brand? Chocolate. What else? Bunny, sweet. Food distribution. Chocolate, number one. Coffee, delicious, good, yummy, milk. You see where we're coming from, this idea cloud right here. So you see where I'm going with perceptions. Last one, second to last one. What it? I didn't. Expensive, organic, healthy, good, organic, Whole Foods. Expensive is up there. One last one. Did you say heaven? Wow. That's another class. I'm sorry. Bullseye, cheap, cool, good, great. I don't see heaven up there, but maybe it's down in there somewhere. The point I'm trying to make is this. What does brand really mean? What does a brand really mean? If we don't understand what a brand is, the channels from which we try to drive word of mouth really doesn't matter, right? If we don't know what a brand is, how do you build one? So the definition that we come up with is a brand is a collection of perceptions that drives or creates an emotional connection. So those perceptions that you all just spouted out was part of that brand promise and that emotional connection that you have to those brands and what they're trying to do. So our goal as brand builders is to control as many of those perceptions as possible, and social media is a great channel from which to do that through the visual arts and songwriting and all the things we're going to talk about. So we just wanted to hit that real quick. You saw the rest of what we do, and I'll turn it over to Tearsa and let her drive the rest of the conversation.
Can I ask you one quick question before you sit down? What is the New Heartland? What does that mean, the term mean?
Great question. Super quick. I sat there. I didn't create the Heartland, but I dubbed the New Heartland because as I was sitting in my office doing business on the coast, when I go to New York, I'd have to walk faster, talk a little faster, wear a lot of black. But I was always the dumb hick from Nashville, right? So with a little chip on my shoulder, I decided that the people in the middle behave a little bit differently. Agreed? All right, so what we did a lot of research. I got in a truck and drove 2,500 miles through the middle of the country and determined that core values are a little more at the surface here. Agreed? They're not exclusive in the middle. There's a little more at the surface. So the Midwest, Southwest, and Southeast make up the New Heartland that I just made a name up for. Core values mean something in buying behavior, means something in social media. We behave differently, and brands need to understand how to speak American or be culturally relevant to who we are.
Ask a lot of questions. All right, Paul, do you want to go next to tell us a little about what you do? You could be Mike today, too. All right, here you go.
I wish I was Paul after that.
I think I wrote his name twice.
I would definitely talk about Beyonce more. Actually, my name's Mike, with a hashtag, @ anything else you want to put on there. I'm curious, Paul, do you think Heartland American Speak now includes hashtags and @ and all of those things? Well, we're here to talk about that, and I'm eager to learn more from the panel and also probably from the students. But also was happy to hear Paul talk about passion. I had two passions when I became a student here at the University of Tennessee. One was entrepreneurship and one was communications. And since I thought I knew everything I needed to know about communications, I went and tried to join the MBA school immediately and was told I could not do that. So I went right back into communications and found out everything I didn't know about communications thanks to wonderful professors, and one of them being here, Professor Rob Heller. Thank you for being here. So I went into business for myself after I got my degree here. Went to New York City for a brief stint and learned that I was a dumb hick from Nashville, Central Tennessee. So they were surprised that I actually wore shoes. And so I brought my shoes back home and started my own business. And for about 20 years, used every ounce of schooling that I could from this university, whether it was in advertising, photography, PR, communications, journalism, mass comm law, everything that that I had applied myself to, and believe it or not, I did apply myself to it. Took it back home, started the company, and started working with other brands and helped a lot of my friends build their brands. And then I started noticing that they were cashing out and they were selling their brands thanks to all the wonderful marketing we had done and the smart business tactics that they had used. And so I began thinking about, well, what is my brand going to be? What is my company going to be when I grow up and try to sell it? Can you sell an ad agency? In our world, it's tough to do that. So I started thinking about, I started looking around me at all the industries that we serve, and there was one industry that we were serving called barbecue, professional barbecue, that we'd come in and put a real brand around. It's what did you call the cloud? How did you refer to that? The thought cloud. The thought cloud around professional barbecue in 2005, 2006 was kind of scary. So we started gathering those thoughts and we started branding it, and lo and behold, it became a very driven, very motivated, very fast-growing brand. And I realized that as passionate as I was about business, about communications, is that there were thousands and thousands of people out there passionate about cooking and competing in cooking. It's when food TV was starting to take off. It's when all of these great competitive TV shows were beginning to take hold of our psyche, and there was a whole underbelly, a whole undercurrent of individuals who were living that day in and day out. And in fact, today, a culinary champion can actually make a living in an RV going around the country competing in competitions, food competitions, week in, week out. And when I woke up to this, I realized there was no Super Bowl of food. Now, being an ex-athlete, I kind of thought that was an opportunity. And sure enough, for the last 5 years, my firm has been completely focused on building the World Food Championships. And I think the best thing for me to do is kind of give you a sneak peek of that. We'll see if we can get all the way through this. It may have loaded. Do I have your attention now? So this was a trailer that we produced right after the 2015 championship, and each one of those 9 individuals that were sitting down in front of the stage had already won $10,000 in their vertical category. So a burger, sandwich, a lady who competed and won in sandwich created her own version of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So think about that. A lady from River Falls, Wisconsin, through our network of championships and now at the World Food Championship finale, had already won $10,000 with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it was kind of a winning week for her. I'll let you tune into the TV show this summer on the Discovery Network to see who wins the 100 grand. But it was a lot of fun. This was our 4th year. We're going into our 5th anniversary this November. We hold qualifiers throughout the world, and we had, I think, 17 countries, 43 states represented in the last championship. We expect that to be even bigger this year. We'll be in Orange Beach, Alabama this November, so we move the championship every couple of years, and we can't wait to see what happens. I personally can't wait to raise the prize purse to $1 million. Once we get there, we think that we're going to be unstoppable, and every news station, every channel that ever wants to cover food is going to want to participate in what we're doing. And then that's going to elevate the playing field for home cooks, culinary champions, pro teams throughout the world in a way that it never has. I don't want to throw any of the food-based programming entities under the bus, but right now if you don't have a great agent, or you don't have a great personal brand already, or you don't know how to build your own personal brand, then it's very hard to get on TV and to be paid millions of dollars like Guy Fieri and Rachel Ray and everyone else. So the World Food Championships was created by my staff and our team to be that launching pad for the average person. Everyone in the world, except me, has some great recipe that they can create. I'm too busy marketing it, and one of these days I'll learn how to cook. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep giving out a lot of money to those people who do know how to cook. So thank you very much.
Did anybody gasp when the one lady didn't make it in time and she was just walking and they were like, "You're disqualified"? All right, Deborah, let's talk a little bit about Jupiter Entertainment. I'm so hungry right now after watching that. Anybody else?
I was thinking the same thing. Hello, everyone. Set this right here. Oh, no, I'm good. So I'm Deborah Allen. I work at Jupiter Entertainment. We are a television production company that's right here in Knoxville. This June, actually, we celebrate our 20th year, and I've been there for 18 of them. We have been making largely television documentaries for networks, as the introduction had said, that include A&E, Animal Planet. We're working on something for food, TLC, Discovery, History Channel. We've made a lot of historical documentaries. We've done competition shows. We actually did Memphis in May with Terry Bradshaw one year. We've done reality shows. I don't know if anyone's seen Welcome to Myrtle Manor. I'm sorry for that. But we've made many, many true crime shows over the years. And I don't know if you're ever driving around town, you may see a big film crew. The chances are it's probably one of our recreation crews. We have currently on the air and in production, we have a show called Homicide Hunter for Discovery ID, which has been a great hit for them. A couple series for TV One, Fatal Attraction, which Tearsa has been on as an expert. A show called Justice by Any Means. And then on Oxygen, we have a number of shows. Snapped has been on for quite some time. We are about to air our 300th episode of Snapped. We have a spin-off called Killer Couples. So we made a lot of true crime shows, and so you may be wondering, what does all this have to do with social media? So our new series, I'd like to show you a clip of this. I'm going to show you how social media can kill you.
take a simple feud, a simple love triangle, and you add social media to it. Now all of a sudden, it gets blown way out of proportion.
When someone can be anyone online.
Not only friends that she had were the ones that she had met online.
You never know who you might meet.
There was no stopping him. It was like he was out for blood. She's screaming, she's clawing, but he doesn't move.
Or how far they're willing to go to get what they want.
Social media is the personal weapon of mass destruction.
So, hashtag killer post. We tell stories about when online drama turns deadly. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what inspired us to create this show. As you know, increasingly the main form of communication is no longer a telephone call. It's a text, a tweet, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. Your social media community serves as your support group and as your sounding board. But the identity that you reveal online is sometimes much more personal and vulnerable than the one that you might normally reveal to the rest of the world. So it's probably something that hasn't occurred to you, but as there's an increase in social media, there's been a spike in internet-related crimes and social media-related crimes. So you think, who's watching? So we're all living these very public lives and sharing intimate details on our profile pages. Yet our audience extends beyond your close friends and your acquaintances. There's probably a few people on there that you barely even know. So social media may be bringing us together as a community, but it also exposes us in a way that we never expected. For example, your vacation photo may send out the word that your apartment's going to be empty for the next week. Or your bikini selfie sparks a fascination by an unknown admirer who might develop a dangerous obsession. Even what you post is your status updates. Because when you're online, tone and intent is up to interpretation. So something that may be innocent may be misinterpreted, lead to a comment back to you, and before you know it, it's quickly escalated into a feud. Even a change in status or a photo that you may post, as we've learned in this show, can lead to confrontation, violence, and even murder. A few statistics that you might find interesting. First of all, in respect to how many people are using social media, a recent Pew Research study found that 73% of online adults use social networking sites have at least one profile. So before you know it, a whole new type of crime is being committed. It's not just scamming and identity theft. 81% of internet-initiated crimes involve social networking sites, mostly Facebook and Twitter. The average age of a victim of a social media-related crime is 20 years old. But there is a bright side. Social media is being used to help solve crimes. It's natural with these trends that what's happening in the world translates into what we watch on television and in entertainment. So as you saw, the show we're producing is called #KillerPost. It's airing right now on Saturdays, so if you want to catch it. We've done everything from Facebook feuds that lead to murder, catfishing stories. We did one where someone was about to be outed on social media, and so they murdered the person that was going to do that. Most of the criminals that are in these stories have no history of violence. There's nothing to indicate that they were dangerous in any way. So I guess my message is be careful what you post online, because making the series has made it increasingly clear that a single social media post can change everything. And these are cautionary tales that remind us pretty much anyone can be a victim, anyone can be a perpetrator. All we know is it's complicated. So. There you go. Anyway, you'll have to check it out Saturday nights and be cautious what you post.
Thank you, Deborah. And our last presentation And this one is going to be just a little bit different because what did I tell you earlier? You brought things with you.
That's right.
We've got some instruments.
The best accessories.
Down
That's
to
right.
Erick. Or do you have one there? Is that one on?
Sure. Yeah. Check 1 2. Oh wait, this thing is hot mic. Hey everybody, I'm Erick Baker. I guess it's been almost 10 years ago. I was sitting where you're sitting. Graduated from here with a degree in PR. I'm humbled to be on this panel. I actually, once you guys started talking, I almost took a seat right here because these are the folks that I'm still trying to, to reach and to contact. And, as a songwriter and a television personality, I'm trying to build a brand. And when I graduated from UT, my degree's in public relations, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Even though I had this great degree, I was terrified because I really didn't have exact direction. And I'm so glad that you guys used the word passion, because there's so much power in passion. And as soon as I taught myself how to play guitar after graduating from college, during the summer after graduating, my parents put me through school here, and they're like, all right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this great degree that we've paid for? And I was like, I think I'm going to travel out west and, just try and find my way. And thankfully, I took a guitar with me, and as soon as I started learning the songs that I'd loved, from I was a music fan forever, but it never really played. It's kind of those first brushstrokes on an empty canvas where it spoke to my heart. And I started writing songs and just closed my eyes and sang these songs as hard as I could, and just they were pages from my life. And now the greatest compliment anybody can give me is authenticity. That your music's so real. I can tell that you're real. And and that's I can only compare it to songwriting. I don't know what you guys are wanting to do and where you're wanting to go, but that's the greatest compliment that I can get. Where trying to be real. As soon as the red light comes on a camera, you immediately start talking different or acting different. As soon as you get up in front of a crowd of people, you maybe wouldn't be the person that you really are. And for me, social media, finding that the difference maker was as soon as I started getting personal and getting real. It took a while to get to where people were like, oh, authenticity, realness. Man, I can tell that you're a real person with a real family. And these songs, you're not just trying to pick up girls with these songs. These are real things, And I'm terrified now a little bit after seeing that, because I was home for Easter, and as soon as I have a beautiful wife and a daughter, and I have, with my social media presence, the posts that get the most are the ones where I show my wife and my daughter. And again, it's some guy sitting there, and he's like, oh, wow, that guy's just like me, and because I'm trying to connect, whether it's TV or songwriting, I'm wanting to reach out and bridge that gap and give someone, through a song, you can lean on it so much, and it connects us no matter where we're from, who we are. A song can unite us. So I say all of that. I'm very scattered too, or whatever. But that realness in what you're doing, and trying to, across all the platforms, have that authenticity and that realness. So I'm going to play a song and quit talking. This song is the embodiment of that realness. Because I say when songwriters come up to me and they're like, hey, I need help with songwriting and that kind of thing. For me, when I'm writing a song and I write a line that makes me uncomfortable, I think, oh, what's my mom gonna think about that? That's the good stuff right there. I know you got. I know you gotta keep that. So in whatever you're doing, I think it's still the same thing. I mean that realness to a point. You don't want to be offensive, but it's the things that are pushing yourself. So I almost didn't record this song because this song makes my wife terribly uncomfortable. But it's very real, very personal. And this is by far the most popular song that I've got. It's been on Sirius XM and has opened so many doors. And I just give thanks about kind of knocking those walls down to be able to put this song out there. So it's called Unbroken Promise, and I hope you like it. If you don't, just pretend that you do. I might should have led with the song. Baby, take off your coat and I'll loosen my tie. You are far too beautiful for us to turn off the lights. Your December skin and a trail of our clothes. Well, you can keep your socks on if your feet are cold. See now why my wife was embarrassed. But I don't want to have to ask permission. Give me a chance. It won't be perfect, just an unbroken promise from an imperfect man. Your red wine tongue, my sudden loss of breath. You like the sound of my heartbeat when you lay your head on my chest. I don't want to have to ask permission. Give me a chance. Won't be perfect, just an unbroken promise from an imperfect man. So draw all the curtains, all the goodbyes are gone. Love found through love gone wrong. An unbroken promise from this broken man to love you the best that I can. So baby, please take off your coat. Oh, and I'll turn up the lights. 'Cause baby, I've made plans to stay the rest of my life. Yeah! Thank you. So, and all of that has led to now hosting a television show for PBS, which I don't want to take I mean, we don't have to show that. That's going to take, just let's show a little bit. The cover. And the show is called Tennessee Uncharted, and in the song it says, "There's a place you've never been that's right where you want to be." It's celebrating how great Tennessee is. We travel all across the state, and it's trying to make adventure more accessible. You know, again, what's led me to where I am are open arms. You know, I think that if you don't know who you are or where you want to be, that's okay. Yeah, I live life with open arms because, you know, hopefully in 10 years you'll be up here on an awesome panel like this. So, shows Tennessee Uncharted.
Right now, we're going to the gas station. Some crazy stuff on this show. This is Tennessee Uncharted. This is Tennessee Uncharted. This is Tennessee Uncharted. As the crew and I sat and watched the credits roll on this final episode of season 1, I couldn't help but look around the room and proudly say, we did it. But the we I mean includes you as well. Because the truth of the matter is, without your stories, the song of Tennessee is nothing more than a melody.
So here at Tennessee Uncharted, we're really working really hard around the clock. And just, I mean, right now, actually, I'm just going to show you some of the hard work that's going on here behind the scenes. So what are you doing exactly right now? What?
I'm testing out the temperature of the concrete back to TWRA.
And here we have someone making sure that this tailgate does not go anywhere. One of the things to be most concerned about when you're in nature is when nature calls. So, I'm preparing myself for that very call right now.
Look at the teeth and see how old that deer is.
Okay.
Of course, we're gonna sex it, male or female. We're gonna
Sex it. I'm sorry.
We're also gonna look at, and see if they've sloughed off any.
Sorry. I didn't know he was gonna be sexing some here. All right, let me just start off like that. I'm sorry, I got you. When I began this journey, I thought I was just a musician. Musician who
Wow. How do you follow all of that up? First of all, I think there's a record here. I don't think I have ever wanted to yell yes to acoustic guitar playing ever. So kudos. That was good. All right, so we've heard all of our different panelists, and they've spoken about their different fields. And the one good thing that we have here is that they each have different fields. It's not 4 people from the same industry. So let's first start off by talking about how much does social media play into your overall plan? It used to be back in the day you would set up an event, and really that was the biggest focus, is we've got to make sure this event is memorable and it's huge and it's a success, or a show or a program. But how much thought do you put into the attack online? And that's for whomever.
I mean, for me, social media is everything. I mean, I'm playing shows, releasing records, and I mean, the only way I can let people know really is through social media. But I mean, if I think about it too much, that's when that authenticity boils out. As far as a plan and an overall thing, I'm probably not the best at that. It's kind of, and social media is, it can be, man, it's a bear and can be so frustrating. And as soon as I come up with a plan and I set out a post that I think is going to be awesome, no one gives a crap about it. So I think as far as the blueprint,
that does happen.
yeah, I mean, you know, as far as the blueprint, I've yet to find it. So
that's a good comment. I remember the first time we produced the World Food Championships in Las Vegas, and I had spent like $1 gazillion and had no more money to spend. And one of my communications team members came up to me and said, "Oh, we got to create some more signs." And I said, "For what?" well, we need to put up a sign with Twitter handles and hashtags and all these things and put it around the kitchen arena. I was like, you're crazy. Why are we doing this? This is 2012. And turned out it was a great move. Our brand really got, in a positive way, got hijacked by the people that we were serving. And we now measure social media impressions every single year. And last year, during the 7 days that we produced the championship, we had over 9 million social media impressions. So it's pretty important to us. We start out with a plan every year. We have a communications meeting every single week, and we talk about what we're going to stream into the consciousness of our consumers and our constituents, or at least try to. And we realize we have to be nimble, because sometimes that conversation goes in directions that we're not expecting it to. But we're always trying to figure out what is the top layer of communications, what's the social media layer of communications, and then what's the reactive communications when we see that the brand has actually taken on another life thanks to the Army of Davids, which I think was created, that terminology was developed here by Dr. Glenn Reynolds, I believe. So it's very important. We try to control it. You can't always control it, but we pay attention to it every single day.
Something that you probably don't think about, but every television show that we deliver to the network, we are also required to deliver a whole slew of online elements that can be sent out over Facebook pages or tweeted out, original content. So we do have what we call deliverables that we send to the network with photos and outtakes from interviews and information that we couldn't fit into a show, because most shows are 44 minutes. So all of that is something that is used on social media to reach out to the audience and give them more than what they're getting in the show. So that's the way that it affects television.
Every brand needs to have a strategy. It's a roadmap, and social media is a huge pillar of that strategy. There's a lot of research involved, and there's a lot of, see, my son Avery back there, raise your hand, Avery. That's my son. My daughter, my teenage kids, what they're doing helps me kind of figure out that Snapchat is now leading, Facebook is dead. There you go.
Okay, and the floor is now open to questions, so don't just rely on me. Feel free. There are students, if you want to ask a question, they just raise their hand, and there's somebody with a microphone. But it's funny you should say that, because that segues into my next question. How do you decide what's most important to push your brand? Because there's so many different outlets out there. Like, I tried the Snapchat. I tried. You can go ahead and friend me or follow me. You're going to get something like once a week. I tried. It's just, how do you figure out? I mean, there's a comfort in Facebook, but like you said, that's not really the hotness right now. It's, you got to move on to the next thing.
We just did a study of millennials, which are mainly you guys in the middle versus the coast. We find that the millennials in the middle still lean a little bit on Instagram and Facebook more than the coast do. I know you guys are all on Snapchat, but it really depends on an audience of who you're targeting. If you're millennials, if you're going, perhaps your group is a little bit older, it's going to be more Facebook. Older females are on Facebook, so you just got to know who you're targeting.
Any questions? Let's get a microphone. I've been sitting for 4.5 hours. I will take the mic to her, please. All I do is sit at Channel 6. Let me get up. Here we go.
In regards to the killer post content, I'm just wondering, out of curiosity, has the crime rate gone down because of social media, or has it gone up? You know, do you know what I mean?
You mean the overall crime rate?
Overall crime rate. Does Facebook actually help crime, or does it make it worse?
You know, I think it probably is both. You know, I mean, I do think that I don't think the crime rate has gone down. I think this has created a whole nother type of crime that's being committed, and a whole nother way into crimes. But I think that Facebook probably does help solve crimes as well. I mean, I think it goes both ways. One of the things I was mentioning is that now 90% of all investigations have some sort of online element to it. And I think more and more, whenever there's a crime that has been committed, police are turning to social media sites to be able to track activity and figure out, you know, if someone's missing, figure out who was the last person they spoke to, and a lot of times that's helping them. I don't think it's stopping the crimes from being committed, but I think it's helping them solve them.
I think there's a whole nother level of crime to talk about too and consider when it comes to social media, and that's integrity, slander, and libel. The thing that surprised me as a journalism major student coming out of UT was once social media got in the hands of the untrained writer, and I'm using that terminology as a very nice terminology, it became a very scary thing for a lot of brands, because all of a sudden the old rule of if you have a bad experience somewhere, you tell 10 people, and if you have a good experience, you tell 2 people. Well, multiply that times 1,000 now, because if you walk into a store or a restaurant and you have a bad experience, you're going to say something. If you're untrained and you don't take words seriously, you use your social media to attack that particular brand. And as a consultant, and I'm sure panel can speak more to this than I, but as a consultant, that's a very unnerving thing that we have to deal with and react to. That's why I said earlier, that's that third layer of concern that we always have, is reaction. So as you learn how to communicate appropriately and professionally, I want you to really be an advocate for integrity as you go out there, because whoever you end up working for, whether it's for yourself or for another brand, you're going to end up dealing with customers that don't treat the word as sacredly as you do, and you need to be on guard, and you need to be able to find ways to use all of your knowledge to steer that conversation back to where it needs to go.
In terms of the things that people may post about whatever brands you're representing, do you ever find yourself, and this is for any of you, in a position where you need to reply to someone who may not be posting positively about something that you're doing? And what is there like a rule of thumb? This is something we've always discussed at Channel 6 when you have people who may not agree with a post or a story. You know, people can't tell tone by the written word, and that's something I've had to learn because I speak sarcastically sometimes. So I've had to do the rule of read it 3 times and then go, hey, you come here, read this for me, and make sure that it's not coming across in a way that can be interpreted differently.
So patience is not one of my virtues. In fact, I have a tattoo on my wrist that says "Start Now." And anytime I see communications, I'm always wanting to start on either positively or reactively working on it. And we've, through our agency work, we've done a lot of PR for brands and for cities that have been attacked in ways that did need addressing. I won't mention any of those. I'll use a personal example. Not too long ago, one of our competitors who had won a lot of money in our championship, for some reason, was going through a bad spell in her life and decided to use social media to cast a shadow of a doubt on a particular result in one of our championships. And she mentioned me by name in her post. Now, normally I don't get too riled up about it because I don't want myself to be the brand. I want the World Food Championships to be the brand. But then, based on who it was and what she said, quickly reacted. It was a Saturday morning. I'd woken up late, you know, like 8 a.m. And I saw this post, and I thought, oh, my goodness. So I had my coffee. That was my patience. And I put a comment underneath her comment, and I said, listen, I think you're misunderstanding something, so why don't you send me your number privately, and we'll discuss it. And she took it to the next level. No, I don't want to discuss it. I'm calling it the way I see it. I said, okay. Here's my number. And I put it out there, and I've got almost 5,000 followers on Facebook, so no telling who has that number is going to use it now. But I said, here's my number, call me, I want to discuss it. I want to explain to you some things that you have heard wrong or things that you may not know. And she pushed it even further. And then the entrepreneur kicked in. And the fight fire with fire kicked in. And what I did is I utilized a social media strategy to box her in. I took every person of character that knew differently. I tagged them in a post, and I then tagged her name, and I basically started with a sentence that said, hey, John Doe, tell Jane Doe about the integrity of this contest. Hey, John Smith, tell Jane Doe about the how tough it is to win a particular contest. I did that about 20 times. And her social media universe blew up. And it needed to happen because she was going down a path that was trying to be destructive. And my reaction to her was one of, I'm going to rebuild this before you can tear it down. And I'm going to surround you with people of integrity before you get off. And even her has been something going on with her in the background, and we're trying to contain it. Thanks for what you're doing. We will try to control this. And about 2 days later, she did a public apology, not only to the World Food Championships, but myself. So I let that live for about 3 days, and then I took the entire threads down. I took them off because it was important to our constituents and our integrity for the competition, for all other competitors to understand this was not an area that should be disputed. Our integrity and our rules are very important to us. So that's a recent example of where we had to fight a fight we didn't expect to, but I utilized the same techniques that I've learned in journalism, in political campaigns, and in branding to basically say, no, I'm going to snuff this fire out, and I'm going to snuff this fire out right now.
You had your coffee first. That was a good idea. The question in the back? Oh, it's you. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got enough steps. We're good now.
My question was, what is your personal, I guess, favorite type of social media platform to use to kind of express your ideas? And I guess that could vary depending on the type of content you want to post. So if you guys wanted to share on that each and individually.
I use, for me, it's LinkedIn, and I blog for Forbes. But for professionally, it's LinkedIn. I dabble in Facebook a little bit to keep up with some folks, but usually just stalk them from a distance. So professionally, it's LinkedIn.
Man, I'm so loud. Sorry. For me, it's Instagram. I have Instagram connected to Facebook, but I love just the visual. I mean, that's where I can include my family, and which I'm like, I don't know if that's such a good idea, but it's that visual thing where then people can connect the dots and say, man, these songs, this guy comes from a real place. So I feel like that's the best platform for me to connect.
I think at least for the shows that I work on, and again, the social media is actually managed by the network, so it's not something you as a production company. But they tend to use Facebook and Twitter the most, just because I think that appeals to our audience and the demographics of the audience watching our shows.
For me, Hootsuite, so I can do one thing and do it all. No, I would say Facebook and Instagram. I dabble in Twitter some, but with Facebook and Instagram, and of course I know you can with Twitter now too, but we are able to use words and visuals to get across all the messages that we want to. And most of our demographic, like Paul was saying earlier, is on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, then I'm the last one. I'm going to go even though I'm not on the panel. I like Twitter. I feel like it conveys voice the best. Like people get the sarcasm, they get the funny, they get the serious. I still like old school Facebook. I guess I'm the buying demo. I'm the female 25 to 55. I'm right there. So I like the Facebook. You have a question? Oh, this is Mallory. This is our WATE intern. Here you go. Everybody say hi to Mallory. There we go.
Hi. Okay, so most of us won't be working in the music industry probably, so maybe like nonprofits or organizations. Is it important for those companies to brand themselves as well, like even if they're smaller companies, like if we step in and we're their social media coordinator? I was curious.
Race Child Trafficking is a nonprofit we just launched for a client. It doesn't matter where you're building a brand, whether it's a nonprofit or a PepsiCo, everything starts with a strategy, and social is a huge part of that. So you have to know your way around that. I don't know if that answers your question, but nonprofits really need it, the social piece.
Let me ask you a question, because we have a lot of folks here who are looking to graduate soon and go into journalism, I'm assuming for the majority of the folks in the room. We talk a lot about social media, and in the beginning, it was always a young person's thing, at least when it first became a popular force. You know, we always thought of your age group. I'm right on the edge tip of that, so just so you know. But my question is, what can they do coming out of school and bringing more than just youth to the table in terms of how to be a contributing force to social media wherever they go to work? What are you all looking for, especially like for what you do in branding, for what you're doing in a big market? What things can they start working on right now?
Super quick. What you're doing outside of class means more to me than anything. I get millions of resumes, not millions, just hired it. We get lots of people who have a great curriculum, a great scholastic, but what you're doing out of here matters more to me than anything. And know social media. I mean, really know it. I know you dabble with it, but you're the natives. I'm not. I'm not a native. I'm well versed in it, but I'm not a native like you are. So you need to come in and be bold and show your employers how you understand beyond just what to post, but the scheduling, the analytics, the impressions, what you're driving, how you're driving the brand around social. If you know that, you're going to get a leg up on your competition to try to get a job.
I'll add to that, though. I think what you learn here is critically important to what he's talking about. You've got to not only know social media and how to utilize it and to layer it and how to transform your thoughts from network to network, but you've got to be a good communicator, period. You cannot Twitter a resume to me. If your resume looks like a Twitter feed, I'm not going to hire you. You might be the smartest person in the room with Twitter. So you're going to have to learn how to communicate with me if I'm the employer, but then secondly, demonstrate to me that you can communicate to numerous people. So understand communications, understand mass comm law, understand journalism, public relations, advertising, the different disciplines, because when you get into social media, you're going to find that you're going to have to jump around through all of that. You're going to have to utilize that knowledge somehow, some way. That little example I gave you earlier about someone who was attacking our integrity, if I hadn't taken mass comm law here, I probably would have attacked her. Well, I've got 25 years in the business. I wouldn't have. But early out of my career, I probably would have slandered her. And you don't want to do that when you're representing a brand. So make sure you pay attention to what the professors are teaching you here, and then take your world experiences and impress people like Paul and me that you know the social landscape, but you also know how to communicate.
Hello. My name's Tori Feldman. I will soon be graduating with a master's degree in journalism and electronic media. Wondering who's hiring. Fantastic. And then my other question, it was related to, like, what do you think that would be best for us? So when you were on our side, what was some of the best advice that someone gave you as to what to look forward to in the job field?
I don't know how this relates. The best advice that anyone gave me was my first manager, who said, don't make decisions based on money, because there's going to be so many opportunities that you miss out on because you say no because they're not paying you enough, or you say yes because they're paying you a lot. And that it's all about the slow burn, the long-term goal. And that feeds into the strategy and knowing where you want to be, not 2 steps, but 10 steps, 100 steps. And then that feeds every decision that you make. But money, I don't even have a savings account, but I have a smile on my face, and it's because of decisions that I made 10 years ago that weren't based on money.
2 things. If you're looking for a job, you don't ask for it. So you're the only, you won the prize, right? So you're asking for a gig. If you're not asking, if you're not jumping on these people afterwards, there's a few people linked in with me before I even got here. You're a winner. You got to ask for the gig because you're competing against everybody else in here, number 1. Number 2, doesn't matter where you go, if it's not that perfect fit, because you're not going to have that dream job out of college. Look at everything as a learning. Everything is a learning. It may not be where you want to be. Listen, a rocket does not go straight to the moon. I did not go straight to where I'm doing. I'm still learning. So you get course corrected along the way. So your first gig out of school, May not be your last gig. Everybody here can attest to it. So take everything as a key learning out of school to kind of get to where you're going. If you have that attitude, you're going to be a winner.
That's actually the point that I was going to make, that I wish I had known. It wasn't actually advice given to me, it was advice that I would give to you, is just recognizing that every job you have, you're going to take something away from that will eventually be used where you're going. And I think one thing that I see with a lot of people that are coming straight out of school, they're so eager to get where they're going tomorrow. And I think it's just a long path, and you don't always know exactly where you're going either. You know, it's a crooked path that you're going to eventually end up in a place that you're meant to be. You might never have known that that's where you were going to go. But I think I've had so many weird jobs along the way that somehow have lent some sort of experience or taught me something that I use every day now. So just to say the same thing.
So I feel like I have 2 degrees, one from the University of Knoxville and one from the University of Hard Knocks. And I've learned so many and heard so many great things from professors here and mentors in business that it would be hard for me to crystallize 1 or 2 things that made the difference. So I'll share one with you that I share with my employees, and that is failure is an option. You can fail. In fact, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. What is not acceptable to me in my world is lack of effort. So learn to fail. The more you learn to fail, the more you're going to learn.
Any other questions? I've got
one
something I can give you.
One parting thought. You guys are fighting a battle as being kind of labeled as lazy babies.
Oh, say that. Yeah,
straight
he's right.
up. You're coming out. You got a bad rap. So your first impression, make sure, he couldn't have said it better, know how to communicate. You guys hide behind these. You freaking can't speak. Learn how to have an eye-to-eye conversation, a firm handshake. I'm not joking, guys. You got to know how to communicate, or you will fail a whole bunch, to his point. That's my thing. You're fighting this little baby syndrome, so toughen up a little bit.
Wait, if we're going to, I'll give it to Patrick and say, if we're going to keep it real, because that was a great point he just gave, we'll just have a keep it real moment. Also, you don't know it all. I don't know it all. But you can't act like you know it all. That's the one thing we see with some of our newer, the next generation of newsies coming into the newsroom. They can't be told anything. I come from an era where somebody would tell you when you got something wrong, and you would literally just like slide out your chair like, I can't believe I let them down. Oh my God. And you felt bad. We don't get that from your generation. It's no, let me tell you, this is right. I'm right. You know, it's like the I'm right. So be humble, be smart, be confident, but be humble to a certain degree when you go into your next job, because you don't know it all, but you're smart, but you don't know it all.
I was going to ask, I was going to ask, what is the name of your latest album and where can we get it?
It's called Dear Amanda. It's actually, which is my wife's name because it's very difficult to be married to me. But May 27th, it is officially, will be on iTunes.
Fantastic.
Oh. All right. Thank you.
You crushed it, by the way. You absolutely crushed it. I was like you over here. I was like, the same question for the next, for the other panelists, not album, of course, but what's the next hottest show coming out from Jupiter?
We have a lot in the works right now. I'm not sure how many I can talk about. We actually have a new series on Reels that is a National Enquirer investigation show, which is kind of interesting. And we've got a couple of new shows coming out on Discovery ID, Dial M for Murder, and Murder Chose Me. So those 2 will be coming out. All of that will be in the next few months.
Awesome. Where can we buy the book?
You can have a couple here. My mom read all she can read. 2 things. Kylie Morgan is a label that just retained us. She's a phenomenal singer-songwriter. Check out Kylie Morgan. And we're going to be launching newheartlandspeaks.com, which is a systematized word-of-mouth online community, the first of its kind. That's coming in 6 weeks.
And when does the show come out?
So
on
the
Discovery?
World Food Championships Florida edition will launch June 11th on Destination America, which is a Discovery network. It'll last for 6 weeks. And the next thing that we're working on right now, it's kind of in a pilot development stage, is Food Champ TV, which would be user-generated videos, but also professional videos and creative vertical. And we'd love to have some TV partners on that. So thank you.
And Tearsa, we can see you every morning, right?
And hi, you can always find me Monday through Friday from 4:30 to 7 a.m. on Good Morning Tennessee, WATE. Then flip it over to CW from 7 to 9. 4.5 hours of news, and I'm always on social. Thank you, WATE. And that wraps it up. We're now at 12:25. We hope you all had a great time. If you have further questions, everyone's Twitter handle is in the little comment right here, and you can link up with these guys. Have a great day.